Working on clear finishes, inside and outside projects, today in the shop. Hey, this is Dayton Brown with Hedgewood Builders. I am in my shop today working on finishing up this white oak craftsman door that's going in on a house we're building across town. It is quarter sawn white oak. I don't know if you can see, it's got kind of the raise, depending on when you cut the log in a quartered way, you're cutting perpendicular to the grain, so the grain runs, the board is this way, the grain is running perpendicular to it. And so you get that, so that board is cut out of the way the circles of the grain go around the tree. It takes a little, it's more wasteful to an extent, but it makes far higher quality lumber, and it's also really, with oak especially, it's a really unique look to it. So the grain is really tight, it has these rays that streak across it and add a lot of just really interesting detail to the wood. It's also a lot more stable, won't warp, very, very warp resistant and swelling resistant for moisture situations. So it's an outstanding wood to use outside, I guess is the point. White oak and then quarter sawn white oak are, that's one of the best, especially domestic woods to use outside. Our door here, I've finished the door inside and out, and I've used two different products on the inside and the outside. This is the inside of the door. On the inside, I've used a product called Waterlox. It's about a 110-year-old formula. It's an outstanding varnish. It's probably your best bet for if you're going to do furniture. I use it on all my furniture. Countertops, it's an outstanding product. It's very, very durable, very water resistant, also very repairable. If you scratch through it or whatnot, you can just kind of light sand it and add another coat and you're good to go. It's also really good to deal with when you're in a semi-dusty environment. You don't have a really good control over your space that you're using. You can just, if it goes on really thin, you can wipe it on, just saturate your surface, and then just take a dryer rag and wipe it back off. And it'll retain, you're putting on thin layers, so you're going to do a few extra layers that way, but it'll be flawless. There won't be a single speck or anything caught in the finish. It looks spectacular. So that's the inside. It's a great indoor product. It will hold up to moisture, but it's not got much UV protectant in it. So on the outside of the door, you're better off going with something that, again, it's a tung oil base, which is by far the highest quality oil to start with, tung oil. And what I go with there is Epifanes, and it's another 100-plus-year-old product. It is from Holland, and it's specifically a marine varnish. It's meant for not below the deck, but anything above the water line. It's tremendous varnish. It is what custom yacht makers and refinishers use. It lays on. It's a little trickier to lay on, but it is just a spectacularly durable and beautiful finish. There's a few tricks to it. Like the first coat you use, it goes on it's such a thick in the can that you want to thin it about half and half for the first coat, first 1 to 2 coats, and then you progressively reduce your thinner down to the point where you're, after about 3 to 4 coats of thin product, you're up to the full consistency thickness. And you do that. Ideally, they call for as many as 7 coats on a boat, but on an exterior door, I'll have about 5 on this, and that's overkill. It'll last. This stuff will last for a long time. I would say on a door that's getting direct sunlight, it'll last at least a couple years with really hardcore UV. And if you just light sand and refinish it, add 1 more coat on it about every year, every 1 to 2 years, it'll last indefinitely. On this door, it's going to be mostly north facing, so it's not going to get a lot of direct sun, and it's covered by about a 10-foot porch. So it could go a decade easily without ever needing refinished. If this door had a fresh coat of varnish put on it every 3 to 5 years, it will last indefinitely. You never need him refinished, sanded down and refinished. So this is my last coat I'm doing right now. And this stuff, it goes down so thick that the technique that they recommend is to use either a foam or a really tight nap roller. Lay it on liberally but consistent, in a consistent layer. And then once you have it down, take a China bristle brush, which is designed specifically for oil finishes, and it's got a really good brush pattern at the end. The ends of the hairs split a lot, very consistently, and so it leaves a nice, clean, smooth finish. And then what they call it is tipping. I didn't know this word until I called Epifanes. Asked them exactly how to do this. So the technique is to hold the brush nearly perpendicular to the wood and just use the fine ends bristles to smooth, stretch that, pull that finish out. Make sure and how it will breach any bubbles or grab any dust particles that are in it. And leave just a spectacular, clean, nice, smooth finish. One other thing that I've done on this, I don't know if you can see, it's a very shiny finish right now. And so I put those first four or five coats that I've got on here are all high gloss. I don't want a high gloss finish on this door, but I've done all but the last layer is going to be high gloss, because high gloss they actually have to add product to a varnish or a finish to dull it. So the less aggregate or dullers that are in it, the higher the solid content is. So the high gloss is a much harder, stronger, higher solid content varnish or finish. So your best bet, if you want the best possible finish you can get, put the first layers all in high gloss, and then do the last one to two in your matte or your semi-gloss satin finish. Same thing with floors. You'll get a lot more wear out of your floor if you lay down 2 or 3 layers of high gloss and then 1 layer of satin, your duller version. And that's I guess that's all the tips I have. Let me know if you have any questions, and if I missed something, and if you have any, I'll try to put a link here eventually, either in the comments or in the notes on the finishes and where to get them. Most of the time these are not locally accessible. I know Woodcraft, which is, we have one locally, they carry the Waterlox. They don't carry Epifanes, although Waterlox does have a similar version, and it's on par with Epifanes. I haven't used it, and this stuff is so exceptional, I'm just sticking with it. I order it either off of Amazon, and there's several different places. You can order it directly from Epifanes as well. But hope this helps, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.